Maxim pulled his Land Cruiser up to the grocery store. His wife had her own business, so she usually got home later than him, a routine he was quite used to. Sitting by the entrance was an old, impoverished woman. Maxim's hand instinctively reached for his pocket, but then he remembered, only large bills were there, and he mostly paid with his card anyway. He selected his groceries without glancing at the price tags and punched in his PIN without looking at the total on the register. Card back in his pocket, he headed for the exit. His eyes swept over the old woman again. He walked to his car, placed the bags on the back seat, and slid into the driver's seat. And then, a memory flashed before his eyes, sharp and clear, a dusty village street, a moment from his childhood. He was an 8-year-old boy, sneaking with his friend, Kolka, to steal plums from a neighbor's garden in the deep dark. He barely remembered his father. Life with his mother in the 90s village was tough. They relied solely on their garden plot and a few chickens. Their garden grew potatoes and vegetables, and their only fruit was one small Ural apple tree. But Baba Zoya, the plums in her garden were legendary. The boys didn't like Baba Zoya, she lived alone, and everyone said she was mean. So, he and Kolka decided, as soon as darkness fell, they would raid her plum trees. Kolka's father was around, but he drank heavily, barely scraping by with odd jobs. No one paid much attention to the two boys. Climbing the fence was a matter of seconds. Crouching low in the shadow of the raspberry bushes, they crept towards the plum trees. They had just started picking when a dog barked, then another. Baba Zoya burst out of her house, grabbed a thick switch, and charged. Kolka scrambled over the fence and escaped, but she caught Maxim. She gave him a severe lashing with the switch. He tossed and turned that night, finally falling asleep on his stomach just before dawn. When he woke up, his mother had already left for work. He shuffled into the yard, and there? Baba Zoya was opening their gate, a package in her hand. "Well, Antichrist, does your backside hurt now, eh?" She looked at his sulky face, then smiled faintly. "I brought you some plums." She handed him the bag. It was full of plums, yellow ones with red cheeks. This was the last thing he expected from Baba Zoya. She shook her finger at him. "You trespass in my garden one more time, and I'll whip you harder than yesterday." And then she left. The plums were so juicy, so sweet. All his anger towards the mean lady evaporated. Their village is long gone. His mother passed away years ago. And now, Baba Zoya was sitting here, begging outside a store. Maxim got out of his car and walked back toward the entrance. He approached the old woman, pulled all the money he had in his pocket, the 1,000-ruble notes, and placed it into her outstretched hand. The old woman's hand closed joyfully around the cash, but then fear flickered in her eyes. "Why?" she whispered, confused. "Baba Zoya, don't you remember me?" He crouched down beside her. She looked closely into his eyes. "I don't remember you, son. I'm Maxim Nazarov. My mother and I lived with you in the village of Abuchika." Tears welled up in her eyes. "You're the one who climbed into my garden for the plums. And you gave me a thrashing with a switch, then brought me a whole bag of plums the next day. And you still remember old Baba Zoya?" "I do. Our Abuchika is gone now. They say they built some kind of farm there. And how is your mother? She died about 10 years ago. Oh, the poor soul, she raised you all alone. May she rest in peace. And what about you, Baba Zoya? I live right nearby, in a one-room flat. It's time for me to die, but my pension is only 9,000 rubles. My only relative is my niece, Katerina. You must remember her. I do. She's over 60 now. I'll be 80 on the 15th of August. My niece lives on just her pension too. When I die, where will she find the money for my funeral? So, I'm just saving up slowly. And it's cheerier here with the people. I had a TV at home, it didn't show pictures, but at least it talked. Now, it doesn't even talk anymore. She stood up. Thank you, son. May God give you health. It's getting dark, I'll go home now. Baba Zoya, which building do you live in? That one right there, apartment 50. But don't trouble yourself, Maxim. I'm fine. Thank you, Maxim. Goodbye, Baba Zoya. We'll see each other again. Maxim watched the old woman walk away. He got into his car, the distant childhood he could never reclaim vivid in his mind. He pulled out his phone and found the number of the friend he hadn't spoken to in 5 years. Kolka had been living in the Khabarovsk region for 15 years. Hey, Kolka. Maxim, how many years has it been? How's life? Not bad. My son started college. My daughter is in 5th grade. Mine is only 11. Maxim, why the sudden call? Guess who I just ran into? Who? Baba Zoya. Remember her from Abuchika? She's still alive. How old is she? She said 80. Maxim heard a heavy sigh on the other end, then his friend's voice. And we're not young anymore either. At least you live back home. Look where fate tossed me. Kolka, take a vacation and come visit. Actually, fly, it'll take you a week by train. I won't promise, but I'll try to break away. Today, Baba Zoya turned 80. She baked a cake this morning and was now waiting for guests. Or rather, a guest. My niece promised to come. She's late, though. Maybe she forgot. Oh. The doorbell. She remembered. The hostess shuffled into the hallway and opened the door. 2 men. The first held flowers. The second, something large. Oh, Maxim. Tears streamed from her eyes. There, Baba Zoya. He hugged the old woman, then nodded his head. Look who I brought. Kolka Loktev. Do you remember him? Hello, Baba Zoya. Nikolai also hugged her. How can this be? The hostess couldn't stop crying. I used to whip you boys when you were little, and yet you haven't forgotten me. Ah, Baba Zoya, if only we could go back to those days. Kolka, save the stories. Maxim solemnly presented the flowers. Happy anniversary, Aunt Zoya. This is a gift from Maxim and me. Kolka lifted the enormous bundle. A television. We'll install it right away. Show us where. Oh. Boys, you shouldn't have. But the boys were already inside the room, drilling into the wall opposite her bed. Just then, the front door opened again. Her niece. Aunt Zoya, what is all this commotion? Katya, guests. The old woman cried happily. Do you remember the little boys who lived in a bachika with us, Maxim Nazarov and Kolka Loktev? They remembered me. Aunt Zoya, why are you crying? The niece smiled slyly. I'm going to take a look at these boys. Oh, Aunt Katya! Maxim exclaimed. My goodness, you're all grown up. The woman cried. Could Baba Zoya have ever dreamed of such a birthday? The men and her niece stayed until evening. They had a wonderful time, reminiscing about life in a bachika, and their fellow villagers. And now they were gone. All that remained was a large television on the wall. The picture was so bright, and there were so many channels. Kolka had shown her how to switch them and how to adjust the sound. Baba Zoya felt this would be the last birthday of her life. She wouldn't live to 90. A year or two more would be nice. She had a TV now. Her pension had been increased by 5,000 rubles. She wouldn't need to sit by the store anymore, she could save up for her own funeral within a year. But still, she was so reluctant to die. Thank you for the like. Subscribe to the channel.